Hello there. Today I'll be talking about Final Fantasy VII and how it was my first 12 hours of gameplay. The game's about 36 hours of length, so it will take about 3 videos to cover the full game. So let's talk about the gameplay, then the story, why I like it so much, and what I didn't like about the game. Let's talk about the battle. For me, this is one of the best parts of the game because basically we have two values that are very important to the battle: the limit and the time. Basically, as the time goes, the value of the timer is going up every second, and it's very different from other turn-based games that I played, like Pokemon, for example, that you have to hit the opponent, wait until the opponent do its thing, its attack, and then you can attack again. No, here it's different. It's literally time based, so it's according to the passage of time that you're going to attack or your opponent is going to attack. And like 90%, most of the battles of the game are like not one versus one. It's like in groups, so it's your group against another group of enemies, and that adds like a layer of gameplay that is very nice to the game because it keeps you more interested, and also it has a lot of more this makes like the game have more action because it is not like, okay, you go then I go, you go then I go. It's very more action based, and you have to plan things more. And when you have like 3 people in your group, you can basically decide and plan which character is going to do what. If a character is going to be more focused on magic, if it's going to be more focused on defense, you can plan all that and actually execute it during the battle. Okay, so we also have the limit. The limit, it's basically every time you're hit, the limit grows, and when it like goes to the maximum, you can also use a special attack that's going to depend on the character, and this special attack can or give a literal attack to another opponent, or like give defense, for example, to your group of characters. So it's going to depend on which character you're using the limit. So it's much more nice to play this kind of game than, like, I don't know, Pokemon, for example. It's a lot more static. You have to wait a lot of time. Here you're always giving input, and you're not waiting a lot of time. You're like literally going through a battle. Now that we talked about the two values, basically here is a little bit of the user interface of the game. You can attack the opponent, you can also use the magic, also you can basically decide which magic each character can have, and you can also summon. Summons you can set if a character can summon or not based on the items you have available. And the summon is it's basically a more powerful magic that you can use once per battle, so it's more limited, but it's very powerful. And you also have the options to use items. About the magics, actually, you have like as you go through the game, you can upgrade your magic. If you level up, you're going to unlock another magic that is going to be a more upgraded and more strong version of the magic that you already have. So for example, here I had 2 types of cure. One cured less, and the second one cured more. It's very nice as well, because the more you're going to use it, the better it gets. So it's very good to have this kind of upgrade as well. And let's talk about, now that we talked about the gameplay, it's very nice. I just wanted to talk that it's very good to have this kind of gameplay, because you have to plan yourself, and you need to have actually a strategy during the game. You can not only press A that you're going to win. That doesn't win the battle. You having to cure and to use magic and plan your attack on which enemy, it's what's going to win the battle. So that's very well made, and it's basically the heart of the game, because a lot of time you're going to be battling, so this is very important. Okay, let's talk about the story of this game also. Basically, we have a lot of main characters that are very important to the story. We have Cloud. Cloud's basically the main character of the whole game. He's like, he has this sword that is very nice. It's very well drawn. That's why I got the original drawings from the original game. And basically, Cloud, he wants to join Soldier. When he was a kid, he had to run from his home, and he wanted to join Soldier. And Soldier is like a military institution from the Shinra. The Shinra are basically the ones who rule the world of Final Fantasy VII. They are like the big bosses, and they rule everything. They control the government, they control the people, they control everything. And basically, the people that are work for them and basically fight for them are the Soldier, and Cloud wanted to be one of them, so he joined them. And that the uniform he's wearing right now, it's the uniform from the Soldier. And his eyes are very different as well, because the ones that joined Soldier, they get a little bit from the magic of the Mako energy. That we are going to talk more about this later, but that's what you need to know about Cloud. From what I understood, he's like 22 years old when the game is going, so that's his age from what I got. That is Barret, the second one. Barret has his right arm is basically like a big gun. We are going to understand how he got this big gun on his arm later. But basically, he's a very pissed off guy. He's always pissed off, and he wants to destroy the Shinra. And because he basically thinks the Shinra are destroying the planet, because they are extracting the Mako energy with the usines, and they are destroying the planet. So he doesn't like that. He's very pissed about that, and he controls a group of people that's basically a revolution that want to destroy the Shinra. And Tifa is basically his friend, because they both are on this group that want to destroy the Shinra. And Tifa is the third person on the image. And Tifa is also related to Cloud. At first, we thought that she was his girlfriend. So basically, they were a couple, but they are not actually. They are just friends from childhood. So they just know each other very well. And those three are basically the heart of the game for the beginning. And later we are also going to know about Ares. Ares is one of the main characters as well. Ares is basically an ancient. That means she is the last Cetra, from what I understood. The Cetra are like a very sacred people that existed a long time ago. And Ares is like the last one of them, and that is why the Shinra president, the one on the right, is after her, because he wants the blood. From what I understood, it was the blood or the power that comes from the ancients, that comes from the Cetra. So he's after Ares. And also we also have to talk about Midgar. Midgar is like the main city of the game, at least from the first 10 hours, 6 or 7, you are going to be on Midgar, and it's very well built. Basically, this is a floating city, so we have the people that that lives in this part of where you're seeing, but it also have the under the city. That's where the more simple people live. So that's where we like our team lives. They live under the city, and during the first part of the game, one of the sectors of the city, sector 7, I think it's around here, it gets destroyed because the Shinra president they are trying to destroy the group that wants to destroy the Shinra. So to do that and to make a threat to them, the Shinra president orders to destroy the sector of Midgar. And when he orders that, one of the people that live under the city was the daughter of Barrett. So we thought that she was dead, but she wasn't actually. And because Ares, before she was captured, and she left the Marlene was Barrett's daughter. She left Marlene with her mother. So when we get to Marlene, we understand more about Ares, and that's for me is when Final Fantasy shines the most, because it explains things in a way that it's not linear. So we don't know about Ares' backstory on the beginning of the game. We just know she's a girl that likes flowers. Later on, the game is going to explain who she is, why is she important to the story, why the Shinra president wanted her. So it explains this in a way that is very organic, and it's very good to explain this way. And as you can see, her eyes are the same from Cloud, because she, from what I understood, they basically have a similar blood, because Ares is the descendant from the ancestors, and the ancestors were the ones who created the Mako energy, and as Cloud were exposed to the same Mako energy, they share the same kind of eyes. But hers like the original one, and Cloud's because he was exposed to the materia. And after we now know about Marlene, and the Midgar was destroyed, Ares was captured, we go to rescue her, and that's when we found out about this awesome character called Nanaki, or Red 13. This character is basically a dog, but he actually talks, and we found out about him. At first I thought he was created by a doctor, this doctor on the right, because he was on a building and something like that, but no, he's like his own species, and just like Ares, he's like the last one of them, because Ares is like the last one of the ancients, and Red 13 is also the last one of his race. I don't know why Red 13 was on the lab with the doctor on the building of the Shinra, but that's where we found him, and he's very nice. He's very well introduced, and on this building with the Shinra, it had I don't know how to explain this, but it had a place called like exposed as Genova. I don't know what Genova was at the time, but it was there, close to Red 13 and this doctor. And that's when, like as you can see here, this is the building of the Shinra, and that's where he explains why Ares is so important, because of her ancestors and the Cetra. But basically, when we were at the Shinra building, we get caught up by some guards. I don't know what happened, I don't remember, but basically after we are caught up, when we wake up, we are rescued by someone. We just know that everything's open, we don't know why, but everything's open, and all the guards were killed. We don't know why, but the full building is with blood. And when we try to investigate this on the building, we know that we find Sephiroth. And Sephiroth, we actually don't see him, but we see his sword on the Shinra president. So the Shinra president was killed by Sephiroth. And after that, we get a lot of flashback about Sephiroth, and it's very well done. For me, this was the best part of the game, because he's going to tell the player about the memories, but the way he tells the memories are the best way it was done, because it's like you play on the memory. So you play as Cloud because Cloud was a friend of Sephiroth. They met on the first class of the soldier because, as I said, Cloud wanted to join soldier, and Sephiroth was like the badass. He was the boss. He was the best one of the soldier, and he was like the first of the first class. And he and Cloud worked together, but Sephiroth was a lot better. And Sephiroth said that he didn't knew whose were his parents, and he just said that his mother was Genova, and that he didn't know his father. And that's when we got to know more about Sephiroth and who he was, because until now we just know he was like a legend, but we didn't know about him. And the game's going to tell the story about Sephiroth through the eyes of Cloud. So I'm going to be in a flashback, but I'm not just going to see it. I'm controlling the player 5 years before that. And as I do this, I'm going to create my own memories. So this is a screenshot of the memory. Like I see the piano, and then the game asks you, did you play this piano when you were there 5 years ago? And you can choose the memory to say to create your own memory. So it's not like just a cutscene. No, it's actually you making the memory, and the way the game does that is just perfect. It's very unique because I never seen like you create your own backstory, even if it's not your character. It's another character, but you can still choose, and that was very well made. And through the eyes of Cloud, we can understand more about Sephiroth, and we actually understand that Sephiroth didn't know who he was 5 years ago. He didn't know nothing about his past. We just knew that he was very special. And again, look at his eyes. His eyes are the same one from Cloud, that are the same one from Ares. So Ares, Cloud, and Sephiroth share the same eyes. And how does that work? Because during this flashback we understand that Sephiroth is a very special soldier. He's a very special person. We don't even know if he's human or not. Because let's try to understand his backstory, because it's very complex. Basically, he didn't know about that, so he was going to search as well. So we as a player don't know what's going on, and he as the character doesn't know as well. So his journey of discovery, it's at the same time our journey of discovery of his backstory. So what he finds out on the city that Cloud was born, he finds out that there were a lot of experiments on a usine, as you can see on this image, and basically it's where we get to understand more about the Mako energy. Basically, Mako energy, when you expose it to people, these people get more powerful. That's why the soldier have exposition to the Mako, and when you expose the Mako, the eyes turn to a different color. That's why Cloud has a different color. But basically every soldier, it gets like not a full, like it doesn't get a lot of Mako energy, just get a little bit. But on the case here on this usine, we see that there is a lot of people inside these capsules, and they are exposed to a lot of Mako energy, and they ended up turning into something else. They are not humans anymore. They are different thing, as it is being showed here on this image. And then we don't know what this is, but we just know that they are not becoming people, and that were experienced by the Shinra. So the Shinra was trying to create more powerful humans. They were trying to create monsters. That's what I understood. And basically, on the same usine, we found out more about the Genova. Genova was the name of the mother, of Sephiroth, and it was shown on the lab here just as a name inside the lab. And then he tries to understand things, because his mother was called Genova. He doesn't know whose Genova was, and on this usine with a bunch of monsters, he sees this name. And then he goes to like a mansion on the city where Cloud was born, and he tries to understand why the hell there was that name on the usine. And he understands that actually he understands the whole backstory of the planet, because one of those scientists, they had a lab on the city back close to the usine. And then he explains that basically we had two kind of people in the past. We had the Cetra, and like the Cetra were the original people. I'm just getting my notes here because this is kind of complex. The Cetra are the original people that they gave life to this planet, and they never stopped on a single place. They were always there. They were always moving to to different places. But there was a specific kind of people inside the Cetra that didn't want to move anymore. They wanted to stay on a specific place. So the Cetra separated themselves, and there was a certain war where the Cetra, the original Cetra, not the ones that wanted to be in a specific place, they died. Most of them died, and they were the ones that gave life and gave the origin to this planet. So that's why Ares is like the last one of them, and they had special powers. Like one of them, from what I understood, was the access to the Promised Land. That is like a very special place, apparently, that everyone wants, including the Shinra. Sephiroth finds out about all this story, and he finds out as well about who is Genova. Genova was like a specimen. It was like it was like something that the scientists found. It had 2,000 years of age. It was something very old, but it was something that they could extract the DNA, from what I understood, and create something else. So they get Genova, do something crazy about it. They do a lot of experiments with the Mako energy, and they ended up creating Sephiroth. So Sephiroth is like a son of a 2,000 year specimen from one of the Cetra. So just like Ares, Sephiroth is also an ancient. So, but Sephiroth was created in a lab, while Ares was created in a like organic way. So when Sephiroth discovers that, he basically goes crazy. He started killing everyone. He basically puts the city where Cloud was born in fire. He was like very pissed off because he was the one with the power, and all these other people that lived on the world, they shouldn't have that power, because that power belonged to the Cetra, and he was the last Cetra, because that was his point of view, right? That was like he was the only one who could access the Promised Land, because he was the only Cetra, the original Cetra. So that's basically about Sephiroth. Sephiroth was born in that moment, in a way, because he was like, he as the villain was born that day when he finds out about all those things. And this like, so he wants to get the Promised Land, from what I understood. He is the ancient. At the same time, he's not a human, because he was created by a specimen from the original Cetra, so he is a Cetra, and he was created from the Genova, and Genova was a specimen. So it's very complex, it's very strange. but that's what is what I like very much. And now that we got out of the flashback, we have to understand that the president was killed, so a new Shinra president comes, and that is the son of the old one. We also tried to defeat him, but we could not. Cloud was not able to kill him because he ran off, and that's what happened. And then we are going to go after him and after Sephiroth as well, because we want to find Sephiroth to stop him, because he's like full killing people. He's like a full villain now. So we have two villains, the Shinra and Sephiroth, and we are actually going to travel to another part of the continent. And here's where the story is going to lead. Is going to go into another characters. We also going to stop on a city. That city was the original city of Barrett. We are also going to understand why his arm was like that. Basically, he was the one who liked the Shinra at first place. He wanted to put a Mako energy inside his own city, but when that happened, it happened an explosion on the Mako reactor that he himself wanted to put, and the Shinra, to punish for the explosion, they thought it was the people from the city, but it was just an accident. And to punish the people, they actually put all the city to burn, and that ended up killing his wife. So he lost his wife because of the Shinra, and also he tried to save his friend, holding the hand of his friend, that I don't remember his name, but it's the guy on the right. I couldn't find a better image, just the polygons. And both of them loses one arm. So Barrett loses his right arm and the friend loses his left arm, because one arm was holding each other, but the Shinra shot them right in the arm, so they put guns on the arm because of that. And that is very nice because we understand more about the characters. So we had understood more about Cloud, we also understand more about Ares, about Sephiroth, and now it was time to understand more about Barrett. So he's not like just this pissed off guy, he also has motivation. He wants to destroy the Shinra because he lost his whole family because of that. Only Marlene that he didn't lose, but he lost his best friend that actually is going to kill himself. So he felt like very dismotivated. He didn't want to fight anymore after this part, because he felt guilty. He felt guilty because his friend, he was alive, and then he killed himself in front of Barrett. So Barrett was like very down after this part, but it was very nice to understand more about his backstory and who he was. And then this is Corel, like the place that I said that was burned down. And after that, we understand. I don't remember how we get there, but we're also going to run as a chocobo in a chocobo run. It was in a race. It was very nice. It was one of the best part of the games. I don't know how we get from a dramatic moment like this to this, but it happens, trust me, and it's very nice. It's very well made. I don't know how they made this run on the PS1, but it is very nice to control a chocobo. And now, I know I talked a lot, but just to understand more, we understood more about each one of the characters. We didn't talk a lot about Tifa, but Tifa is like a very special character that is basically the sister of Cloud. They are very close to each other, but we didn't. The backstory, her backstory, is very like to the Cloud backstory, except she grew on the same city, but she didn't join Soldier. She just stayed there, and they were very friends. There's not a lot to talk about Tifa because they haven't explained a lot until now. She's just a good character. And then let's talk about Nanaki. Nanaki is red 13. We also are going to go into his village, the village where he's come from, and we are going to go there. And one of the best part of the game, for me it was the best part, because it actually shows the heart of the story of the game. We are going to understand that Nanaki was the last of his race, and he felt like very mad about his father. He didn't like his father because his father basically left his mother and left her to die because she was old of something like that. And this place where Nanaki lives, it has an observatory. Like they can see all the planets, all the solar system from there, and it has like a very old people, the elders, and Nanaki, he says that it's like a commitment of his to protect those people. As the last of his race, he has to do that. Basically, it's going to tell us about the story of his family and how this village was attacked, and there was one person that how can I say, made this village survive on the battle. That sacrificed himself during the battle, but he didn't want to be recognized, so no one let that escape. So we just understand that this village was attacked by another village, and there was someone that helped this village. This someone was actually Nanaki's father, and the way they tell this is very nice, because again, we thought that Nanaki hated his father, but he actually was a hero. He didn't let anyone to die. It was actually his act of commitment, and he drove all the attackers to a place that they couldn't escape, and so he sacrificed himself. And that is actually when he turns into a rock, as you can see on this image. And when Nanaki learns that, the elder people that is going to that's telling this story, he's like explains to us that Nanaki is a very he's like 50 years old, but his race tends to live longer. So instead of being 50 years old, he's like a 15 in like a human count. So he's a very teenager, so he needs to understand his motivation, and then we understand that he should try to save the planet. And that's, for me, it's the heart of the game. That basically one of the elder that he says, I know that all the people are going to die, and that this planet is going to die one day, because the energy from this planet comes from the people, and we know that they are going to die someday. But if there is someone who is trying to avoid that, there should be a try. We should try to avoid that. Even though we know that it's going to happen, we should try to avoid. And that, for me, is the heart of the game, because even if it's if something really looks very, very bad, like it can be helped or it can be saved, we should try to save it. Even if there's like no way to save it, we should try it. And that is where we got this message. It's the message that is going to be told on this story. It's like the story of his father. Even if the odds seem very low, he tried and he got it. So that, for me, it's where the story shined, and that's for me where why this was the most beautiful part of this game, and it connects everything. It's basically going to tell that Cloud is trying to save Sephiroth, even if it's a very difficult battle, and even if it doesn't seem like we are going to get it, we are going to try it, because that's what we should do it, and that is what the game's trying to tell us. That's it for the story. I know it was a lot of things to talk about it. I'm sorry, this took more time than I was expecting. But let's just remember why this was so good that made me talk for about 25 minutes, I think. The gameplay of this game is just amazing. Everything about this gameplay is very nice. The battles are the best part of it compared to other turn-based RPGs like Pokemon. This was a very more had a lot of more action and strategy involved, so it was very nice. I don't need to tell nothing about the story except it was perfect. It was like very well made. How we have Cloud, Ares, Sephiroth, all these characters basically connected in a way that makes sense, and also that connects the whole planet and the city and the Shinra and Barret. They connect every part of the story and every character in direct and indirect ways, so it's very well built. And we are also, another thing that is very nice from this game is that we have different scenarios and different enemies every time. It seems that every place that I go is different from the past one. It's not copy and paste, everything was thought about it, and it's very well built. And the music that you are probably hearing right now, from beginning to end, mainly on the battle, it's always good. It has calm ambient sounds, it has a lot of tense ambient sounds, it has good battle sounds. So all the songs that had on this game they were perfect. Like, I don't have words for it. It was one of the best part of the game. And every time I hear a new song, it makes the story better, because it seems that one was built with another in mind. During the part of the father of Red 13 of Nanaki, a different song plays, and it's very well put. That's it. That's why it's so good. That's why I'm liking a lot, and that's why I'm making a video even without finishing the game, because I wanted to remember with details every part of it. And what I didn't like about this game, there was a little bit of things that actually were not like to play it. I didn't like to play it. The level design was not very good, because most of the times they don't show you where you should go, so you have to search, or you have to spend hours looking for it on your own. That is not very nice. You shouldn't do this in your game. And for a game that he focused on exploration, to not show you where you should go, or at least give hints to you, it's very bad, because you feel lost, and not in a good way, in a bad way, because you don't have any tips of where you should go. And most of the times that happens because the game doesn't use actually in real-time render. He basically renders the character, but the images, the backgrounds are pre-rendered. Like, let me show you an example. Like for here, all the image, all the background where you are going to walk, it's already rendered, because probably the PS1 didn't have the power to render this in real time. So the cloud is in real time, but the whole background is not. So you cannot know exactly where you should go. Like from this image, do you think I should go through the door, or do you can see that has a stair on the center of the image that you can go below? You can't see the stairs there. I can't even barely see. I thought it was a door that it's in front of me, but it was not. It was very confusing. This happened a lot of times in the game. Every time I felt confused and lost, because I didn't know where should I go. So this is a very, very bad thing about the game, but I don't think it ruins the gameplay, because you can find eventually, but it's definitely not a good point to have these pre-rendered images. But for me it's understandable because of the power of the time. And the controls are also very, very slow, because you have to wait to walk for a lot of the time, and Cloud is very slow most of the time, and it's not very nice to just spend a lot of time just walking. He could be a lot more faster. It would break the immersion of the game, but it would make me feel very better during the gameplay. That's it. I talked a lot. I would talk probably more on part 2 because this game is very long, but I wanted to do this video to remember why I liked so much and to remember what was my point of view. Like, for example, right now I don't know where Sephiroth is going. I stopped on a place that it has like I don't know what it has there. I just think that apparently it seems that Genova is not from the planet. It comes from space, but we don't know why. I just think that, and I just got a spoiler because I knew that I just discovered during while I was making this video that Ares is going to be killed at some time on the game. I didn't know about that, and she's going to be killed by Sephiroth. So Sephiroth is going to kill Ares. I didn't know about that. It was not like I didn't like to see that, and I was very disappointed when I saw that. But it makes sense for him to kill her because it's basically a battle of who gets the promised lands, and the promised land, and Ares and is like the only opponent to Sephiroth, so it makes sense to kill her. But I don't know the context, so we'll see. I think that is going to happen on part 3, and let's see if the game holds up and keeps very good.